Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. We are so glad to welcome you as part of our community tonight. Please note that this webinar is being recorded and distributed live stream. By entering this virtual meeting room, you give your consent to be recorded and distributed by Simeon Morrow, EU, and other third parties. If you prefer to not be recorded, please turn off your camera and microphone and/or go to the Facebook Live video feed, the link to which I will now place in the chat room. There it has been placed. For a better experience, please turn off your microphone and set your video to gallery view. Tonight, our featured guests are Professor Michael Werba and Professor Niels Muus, co-directors of the Summer Academy Opera of the Vienna Philharmonic, and three of the Academy's singers, Alexander Fritze, Risa Matsushima, and Anna Tiapkina. Also joining us tonight is Professor Lino Rivera of St. Mary's College of California. So welcome, Professor Werba, Professor Muus, Ms. Tiapkina, Ms. Matsushima, Mr. Fritze. So let's begin with you, Professor Werba. Tell us about the Summer Academy. What is the Summer Academy and what does it have to do with the Vienna Philharmonic, which we know is one of the most prestigious orchestras in the world?
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you for the invitation. I think I like to explain because this project, because the Summer Academy is a special project of Vienna Philharmonic since now 14 years. And the idea was to bring young musicians into the orchestra because we have always the problem that only an audition where you show what you are able to play, it's not the same as you know the person directly. And to make a connection to the members of the Vienna Philharmonic, we together with the young musicians, that means Vienna Philharmonic were teaching the best young musicians you can catch in Vienna or in Vienna universities. Vienna, I say Vienna at first because it's the biggest, the MDW is the biggest university of Austria. You have also Graz, you have also Salzburg, but the most members come from Vienna. And this idea I took 10 years ago as a chief. You have to know, I am since 44 years member of Vienna Philharmonic. I retired last September as solo personist of Vienna Philharmonic. I had the good luck to know about the, I say, good times of the Vienna Opera, the good times, Karl Böhm, Bernstein, Karajan. That was a situation in about 10 years. You had these persons changing from one week to the other week to coming to join our orchestra as a conductor. And from them, you learn very much. And now my colleague founded this summer academy 14 years ago, and I'm now chief since 10 years. And I changed a little bit because he wanted to make only teaching in audition. And I wanted to make it bigger, and we are now making not only teaching in audition, but also in chamber music. And to show it as a short thing, 3 weeks, you have the young people come to us. In 3 weeks, everyone, about between 30 to 40 people, has to play 4 or 5 different chamber works. That means mixture between Schumann, Brahms, Mozart, Haydn, and they have 5 projects to work about with every time other colleagues, and therefore you have a very interesting fluctuation. For instance, in one day, starting in the morning at say 9 o'clock, and we close in the evening at 8 or 9 p.m. And in this time, the young people are only making music and they are only thinking for it. But in every different situation, that is the summer academy. Besides, we are also making an audition training, but it is only for students of Austrian universities. It's not interesting from which country they are coming.
Understood. So, Professor Werba, do I understand correctly? You said your colleague from 14 years ago who founded the Summer Academy wanted originally to recruit new members for the Vienna Philharmonic. Do I understand that you've changed that somewhat?
No. I didn't change that. I changed the program that they are now making also chamber music. And for instance, about these 14 years, we have about 16%. They were coming from this summer academy to Vienna Philharmonic. And in the last 10 years, that are about 10 people, 11 people. And you know, we are a group of 150, and that's a lot. And therefore, I'm very proud of it.
And you said a group of 150 for the Summer Academy or for the Vienna Philharmonic?
Of the Vienna Philharmonic, and 40 people, we are at the Summer Academy every summer for 3 weeks. You can now reckon, for instance, for 10 years, you have about 300 young musicians that joined our teachers, working with the teachers together. And the funny thing is, every person of our teachers say the same things, but in his own manner of explanation. And that's for me always a very interesting thing. I say it in one manner, and my Russian colleague, who is a member of Vienna Philharmonic, says nearly the same with his explanation. And therefore, you know, Vienna Philharmonic are not members only of Vienna, international members, but we are a sort of melting pot where they come from all sides, but they are put together to one music union, working in the same manner. And we were fighting about small details, and that's also very interesting to explain. Bitte sehr.
So let's bring in then, that's a good place where we can bring in Professor Niels Muus. So Professor Muus, tell us about your experience. I don't believe that you're a member of the Vienna Philharmonic.
No, I'm not. I am here. I'm in the role as I'm a professor at the Music and Arts University City of Vienna. And I'm the director of the master's program there for opera. And Mr. Werba, he came to me and suggested that we should start a program also for opera, which was quite new. And I think from Mr. Werber's side, it was also meant because there was a little insatisfaction how Mozart operas were played in the big opera houses nowadays. That you fly in stars, everyone singer sing in his own style, and we knew here in Vienna we had the famous Mozart ensemble after the Second World War, and it is the idea to try to recreate this situation where singers and orchestra musicians, they are playing on equal basis. And we are all singing in the same style, and we have tried now for 5 years with this opera program to develop a coherent style for musicians and for young singers. And I'm the collaboration partner with the Vienna Philharmonic, my program, but we do, as they also do with the orchestra musicians, we make open auditions for all singing students in Austria. So everyone has equal opportunities to be a part of this very, it's of course, in a certain sense, a very elite program. And it is, I think, we have seldom, said very diplomatic, had any project of this kind on this level in this country. And that is for me, of course, very important.
Fantastic. So before we get on with our next question, I believe that Anna Tiapkina is ready to sing for us some Brahms.
Ja, gerne.
Yes, and Tiapkina, she has been with us 2 times in 2 Mozart operas. There we also first have to explain, we are doing 1 Mozart opera every year. So that is our trademark. And Anna Tiapkina, she has been with us for 2 years. She has done a role in La Clemenza di Tito, and she has also done another part, the mezzo part in La Finta Giardiniera. And tonight it is Brahms, May Night.
Wonderful. Let's hear it.
Von der silberne Mond durch die Gesträuche blickt, unser durch die Seele mir strahlt, find ich auf Erden dich. Und die einsame birgt mir heiser
Brava. Well, lovely. Absolutely lovely. So I'd like to just inform everybody that Miss Tiapkina is able to better express herself in German. So she'll speak in German and Professor Muus will translate. So tell us, Anna, Miss Tiapkina, where do you come from and how did you get to Vienna?
Ich komme aus Russland, aus St. Petersburg. Und ich bin gekommen nach meinem Studium in St. Petersburg in Musikcollege von Rimsky-Korsakow.
I come from Russia, and I came to Vienna after finishing my studies at the music college Rimsky-Korsakov in St. Petersburg.
So Anna, tell us about this, what you just sang. What's this music about? I know Brahms got in a fight with Wagner about opera versus absolute music, music for music's sake, as opposed to music on stage. That was incredibly moving what you sang. Seems operatic. I mean, I could feel you singing, feel something very strong going on inside. What's this music about?
Es ist mein Lieblingslied von Brahms, heißt ja Mainacht. Es ist ein Lied über Traurigkeit von Einsamkeit und ein Lied ist über, wenn du allein bist und kein Paar hast, du siehst überall Pärchen vielleicht und du fühlst dich noch mehr in Einsamkeit.
May Night is my favorite Brahms song, and it's about desolation, loneliness, and when you see happy couples together, you maybe feel even more lonely.
Tell us just, thank you. Tell us just a little bit about, help us get inside, because I mean, when we see you sing, it's like everything is vibrating, like the whole, it's very emotional. What's it feel like when you're singing that lead?
Ja, das Lied ist sehr traurig, aber eigentlich ich bin sehr glücklich, wenn ich singe das. Und für mich, warum ich liebe dieses Lied, weil für mich, das war sehr große Überraschung, dass solche kalte Person als Brahms könnte so ein trauriges Liebeslied komponieren.
This song that is actually very sorrowful makes me very happy when I sing it, because to meet all these wonderful emotion and free this emotion by singing by a composer like Brahms that is actually North German, and it's the surprise that such a northern person can write such wonderful emotional music.
Last question. So, Ms. Tiapkina, it's well known in the liberal arts that the Greeks, they believed singing was some kind of higher expression. Does it have that good feeling for you when you sing? Does it feel like you are more yourself when you're singing?
Bist du mehr dich selbst, wenn du singst? Was fühlst du?
Ja, natürlich. Es ist genau dieses Gefühl, warum ich habe diesen Beruf gewählt.
Yes, that's exactly what I feel, and that is the reason why I have chosen this way in life to become a singer.
Ich will immer meine Seele schenken für Publikum, für Leute, die hören und schauen.
I always want to give my soul to the audience.
Well,
And now I'm not citing Anna. I must say Anna has a very big soul, and she always gives it. And also we also sing, and I know that Mr. Werba is also, we also agree there, Mr. Werba's father was one of the big world-class accompanists.
Excuse me that I interrupt you.
No, just play Dr. Erik Werba. And for us,
Behind me is a photo. It's my private photo. It's always there, hanging. My father on the piano, and Irmgard Seefried is singing. And congratulations to you. It's a wonderful accompagnator. It was wunderbare Begleitung as you did it at this Weihnacht. And I was brought back 50 years to my youth. Dankeschön.
No, but also I think it's very, we have lead singers, we have opera singers, but for us and also for my dear friend Michael Werba, it is very important that opera singers are singing lieder. And that is exactly, we feel that is the right mixture of how it should be sung.
good. So turning back quickly to Anna Tiapkina, thank you very much for this performance. And yes, I believe we were all very moved, and we are grateful very much for you coming on the show tonight and sharing your talents, your many talents with us.
Thank you very much.
So we have a question from Professor Lino Rivera of St. Mary's College of California. Please, Professor Rivera.
Okay, thank you very much. Before I ask my question, I can, I must compliment Professor Niels Muus for being very diplomatic in the translation. Ich kann ein bisschen Deutsch hier. Und ich kann verstehe Anna. Anyway, when you said, the North German, Brahms being North German, the way you translated it was just very, very diplomatic. My question for both...
Free translation.
My question for both Professor Werba and Professor Muus, with regards to your audition process, because I can imagine that there are so many singers, there's so many musicians, instrumentalists that are applying for your festival in Vienna. How do you go about selecting the people who you are going to have in your festival?
Maybe I can answer, but it's the situation with Corona was much more complicated because we had two auditions. The first audition we did on Zoom, and the second audition we did then in reality. It was really difficult. It was really difficult to find a room, to find possibilities. These all Corona things, it was really difficult to manage. But in the normal times, 2 years ago, we had about 140 person, 130 person. It was different. For a Figaro, it was small. For a Titus, Clemenza, was it not so many people? They were maybe interested, or it was too difficult. The parts, the solo parts were there for them too difficult. But about 130, 150 people we had to select as a possibility to select. And that is very much, and it was, we did it for 2 days normally, and then we had found out the people for the right, for the operas, the solo parts. What I wanted only to tell, because Niels said because of my father, Erik Werba, if I would not had this youth, where I was sitting as a child from my sixth year to my 15th year in Liederabende, and loving music made by singers, lady or men singers. It's a special sound and it's special. And the time, at this time, for Irmgard Seefried, for instance, she was quarreling with my father for one breath, a discussion for 20 minutes, because she said she wants to breathe there. And he said, no, yeah, that you cannot do because of the language. There's a comma, there's no comma, you cannot breathe there. And she said, it's not possible because I'm the singer and I'm the solo, and I tell you how it works. And she said, no, the people will laugh about you if you don't make it right. And they were really, for one breath, they were speaking 20 minutes in a rehearsal at home. And this time is for me this holy time, and I will bring it back. We are now working for Don Giovanni, and the Don Giovanni, we were working today, the Ständchen, we are making the Giovanni, the Ständchen, not with mandolino, we are making it with my small orchestra, with pizzicato orchestra. Yeah, the Giovanni must also breathe. He must also make a small ritardando. And then you have, for this 4 minutes part, to speak about to the youngsters for 20 minutes, how it should sound, how it should feel, how it's the agogic. And that's the part where it's becoming interesting. Not to play it as a straight thing because it's written that way. Agogic. No, you have to find the character. And therefore I like so much Niels, because he can bring the characters to the orchestra. And I'm also allowed to say to the singers what they could, for my opinion, make better, or where they have to make chamber music. And what I said before, the chamber music, we are working at Salzburg, and I wanted to bring the chamber music into the opera. And in my time, 40 years ago, it's no joke, we were making chamber music in the opera house. And Carl Böhm was sitting in front of us, and if one singer was too late, it was not possible, and he was really quarreling with them in the direct situation in front of the orchestra. And then they were very punctual. And then he said to the orchestra, and you cannot listen to them. Why do you not arrange with them? And from this time, I want to bring up again. It wanted only to explain that it is a connection with my youth, where I learned from my father, from Lied, from singers, how it worked, how it has to work to make music. The other things are not so interesting. Maybe for PR or maybe for international guests, they are buying one ticket in Wiener Staatsoper to hear Zauberflöte.
Okay, wonderful. We have our next video, Clemenza di Tito. Let's take a look at it.
Mhm.
Fantastic. So let's bring in Professor Niels Muus. Do you agree with what Professor Werba said? It's about chamber music. Is that what you're after here?
First, I must say this was from, of course, from La Clemenza di Tito, and soprano was a wonderful soprano that studied in Graz, we found, and she's from Thailand, called Lalit, a very difficult name, her surname, Vorapchinenan. And it is also a part of, we want to be open also to the whole world and bring all these singers in from the whole world. That's a very also important part of our mission here. Yes, I agree completely with Mr. Werba, and all these operas by Mozart are in that sense chamber music. And every orchestra musician has to listen to the singer, and every singer has to listen to the color of the orchestra. And it's very, very interesting when a singer really sings the most wonderful piano, immediately the orchestra, they'll go down and also play fantastic.
So Professor Muus, you said that your goal is to get everybody from all the world to come here, but there are already significant barriers in place if you have to be a student of an Austrian music university. Would you like to abolish that? Would you like to have open applications around the world?
No, but if you look into the Austrian music universities, they are international universities, and they attract people from the whole world. If I see in my program, I have Japan, China, Korea, Kazakhstan, Uzbekistan, Russia, France, Turkey, everywhere in the world they are coming. And that is, of course, that is a very wonderful, special situation. Of course, Vienna in that sense is the capital of music in the world. And that attracts, that, of course, the really special talent from the whole world. And of course, we are in a very lucky situation there. But it's not only, it also goes the other way around. We also have a responsibility towards the whole world to nurture this culture and bring it forward and be open to every person in this world who has talent. I tell you, Simeon, we right now, it's, of course, it's very difficult with Corona. It's very difficult also now with closed borders and visa, but we fight for every student that applies here and is accepted.
So your recommendation for anyone who would like to study singing, to become part of this program, obviously it's to apply to your program at the Music and Arts University of the City of Vienna.
Yes, there are also other music universities, but of course I can warmly recommend the Music and Arts University, City of Vienna, and I think if we look at in opera education, how we have developed the last 6-7 years, we have really brought it up to the foremost international standard, which you also can hear of the talent we have here.
Absolutely.
And also very much thanks here to Michael Werba and this program we have with the Mozart operas together.
And a question to Professor Werba. So is it that with the opera program, it's similar to the orchestra program, that you would like to actually meet young singers and become collegial with them, and then eventually have them singing at the Vienna State Opera?
There you have to know that Vienna Philharmonic and State Opera are separated parts. They are not working together in finding new singers, as not opera. Opera is looking, because I have to explain. Vienna Philharmonic, we are members of the Vienna State Opera and are besides a private Verein der Wiener Philharmoniker with this 150 people, they're the same that they are working in the state opera. And therefore, the orchestra looks for the best talented persons, but they are working at the Wiener Staatsoper, and when they become working at Wiener Staatsoper, then they are a member of Vienna Philharmonic. In the opposite thing, Vienna Philharmonic is not interested to find singers. Yes, in their concerts, high qualified singers as the best solists in the world, as the singers for Malerlieder or in programs the orchestra is playing. There's a big difference there. What I made with the program and the idea of this program was that I want to bring together the singers and the musicians much closer. You'll see the people are working 1-2 meters besides one another, and therefore they have very much more contact in, and the musicians learn about the behavior of the singers, and the singers learn of the problems of the orchestra persons. Normally in the Vienna State Opera, you have a separate part. We are playing our part at Orchestergraben, and they are singing upstairs, and you have separated wardrobes. And now, in the situation now, and we have a new opera director, we don't know our singer solists, because the opera director brings it. There are some rehearsals, and then they are working together. In our situation, we try to bring and to form an ensemble. And what Niels said before, it's a little bit the Mozart ensemble as it was after the war, in times where you didn't earn so much money, but you are working together for music in bad situations. Now we are working for music in bad situations with Corona. It's a strange situation. Now it's also the thing, I cannot pay the young musicians much money, but we are working in Giovanni for 10 days rehearsals, and then working for a film production for 3 days there. In these times, we have time to make music, not to play all the time something, to make music, to work together. It's difficult to say. Some things Corona has also positive reactions, or brings us positive reactions. It's very difficult to say that, but for the music in this way, maybe it's not so bad.
Quite inspiring. So Professor Lino Rivera has a question. Professor
Yeah.
Rivera?
Yes, and that's a very quick question to follow up on that, Professor Werba. We here at St. Mary's College, our choir is actually preparing for International Choir Festival. Of course, last summer it was supposed to be held in Belgium, but it was all canceled. So right now we are in the process of deciding whether we are going to go to the next choral festival. I am wondering, are you having and planning to have a festival of your own right there in Vienna? And so also with Professor Muus, is there something that is happening this coming summer? Because people have to prepare for these upcoming events this coming summer.
This summer, you mean the orchestra or you mean the opera project?
Both.
Both. The orchestra is waiting if Salzburg Festival in August will work, yes or not. The State Opera is now, there's now all cancelled until Easter. For me, I think the performances will be also cancelled until June. We don't think, for me, don't think that this season will be opened again. They will start with the season for us in September 21. But the Salzburg Festival had a very good not only promotion, but the chancellor, they believe that they are making their work so exactly that it will work. The orchestra of Vienna Philharmonic had a big fight, to play concerts sitting close together, but they are testing, I think, every second day. And there's a testing machinery, it's tremendous, terrible. But they are working for it because they want to make their profession. Because if you are not playing, you know that as an orchestra, it's very dangerous. You have to build up all again. It will not start in the same quality in the moment. Yeah, that's a big problem. Therefore, they try to play and they try to rehearse to also that their members are playing together like they are used to, not 2 meters like it is now in Germany. I think it's 2 meters separate sitting. That doesn't make sense. We are sensitive. We have to feel what the neighbor is doing.
Oh, we have, I believe
Enough.
now, we have now a duet. We should bring in Risa Matsushima, who will sing a duet from Strauss with Anna Tiapkina. What do we
Yes,
get?
and that is duet from Ariadne auf Naxos between the composer and Zerbinetta.
Sie gibt sich dem Tod hin, ist nicht mehr da. heute vergesse ich und bin doch so einsam. Süßes, unbegreifliches Mädchen, törichtes Mädchen, musst du sein, dass ich manchmal zu sehnen verstünde nach dem Leiden, der zertreu sein könnte. Treib es ans Ende. Wer es sein dürfte, den du ersehnest. Du bist wie ich, das irdische und du sprichst, was ich fühle. Ich muss fort. Vergiss es du, ich diesen
Brave, wonderful, lovely
you so
performance.
You have to sit down.
So, Ms. Matsushima, tell us about what you just sang. That's a lovely, what a wonderful performance. What exactly is happening?
Yeah, I sang Zerbinetta, and she's an actress, like a comedian actress. And a composer is a very serious person, and he said about his music like I his idea for his music and blah 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 and and Zerbinetta
She's a flirt.
yeah she
So,
seems like
Anna
girl.
is singing, Anna Tiapkina is singing a male role, or
Yeah.
a role for a female, I suppose, who is singing a male who's a composer, and you are an actress who's
Yeah.
courting the composer, and so are you successful?
And all the other men also.
Oh,
And at the
okay.
moment, when music is the most exciting is, and we fell in love suddenly, and she told him about her real feeling. She seems very
Cheeky, happy.
happy
But
and easy, but actually she is always dreaming uh, the only one love, and she found
Him.
him.
Ah, okay. So contrary to what Professor Muus said, actually, you are only interested in the composer. You find the composer is your true love. Is that it? And what is your what is your feeling when you're doing this role? A lot of acting involved. How do you feel, and what is it to you when you are performing this role?
Yeah, but music says everything. Oder?
Yes. Uh, 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 as you can see, Risa has come to us from Japan. We knew her before, and we are very happy that she came to our school, of course. And not only has she a wonderful technique, is a wonderful person. And this, in the summer academy, she's doing the part of Donna Anna this year, and that, which is also very difficult. And Risa is also a phenomenon in that sense that she can read all kind of modern music and learn it in no time.
And Risa, tell us about, so what is it for you when you are singing? Like I asked Anna, do you feel more yourself? Are you more expressive than when you're talking? What does it feel like to be Risa Matsushima when you're singing?
It's too difficult to say, but for me, music. How can I say that? Opera is for me like acting and singing always together. And Richard Strauss is one of the most greatest composer. He wrote everything with note, every feeling and expression. Oh,
You want to say in Richard Strauss, all the feelings and expressions are written into the music.
yeah.
Yeah, it's
So singing,
easy then.
yo.
Singing is
And-
easy. Richard, no. I once met an old Austrian conductor, and I was very young, and he said, I said, can I learn from you? And he said, yeah, we'll walk down to the train and we'll talk. And he said, yes, we hardly knew each other. But he said, yes, Mr. Muus, phrasing in Richard Strauss is very easy. In Mozart, it's very difficult.
Yeah, I agree totally. Yeah, totally.
Absolutely.
So Risa, tell us, what is it Richard Strauss, your favorite music to sing? What is it to you then that is most you? When are you most you when you are singing?
Kannst du antworten?
No. Only you can answer this question.
I cannot say anything.
I think this just singing and giving these expressions out, and for Risa it can be the wildest modern music, it can be Mozart, it can be Richard Strauss. She feels very much at ease with herself, and she feels that's her destiny to do.
Understood, and I didn't mean to put you on the spot with this question. I meant to say that it's very clear you have many talents in acting, in singing, and so we were very thankful to have your performance tonight, and thank you very much to come on the show.
Thank you very much.
So for our final roundup, I'd just like to ask each of you what the Vienna Philharmonic means to you. Why don't we start with you, Risa?
Vienna Philharmonic is like the top orchestra in the world, of course, and it's very famous. in Japan too, and Vienna Philharmonic or Summer Academy, both. Yeah, the Summer Academy is for me very very special experience is now, and we are doing every day now our rehearsals, and yesterday we did my second arias rehearsal with orchestra, and I felt like absolutely chamber music, like Professor Werba said, and I'm so happy now because Professor Werba and Professor Muus, the two people, are absolute genius.
Wonderful.
I
Thank you for
love.
the compliment.
Understood.
And I'm so happy.
Understood. And Anna, let's hear, what does it mean to you, the Vienna Philharmonic?
Für mich, es war große Erfahrung, zweimal. Ich habe gesungen in Sommerakademie. Und für mich, Hauptsache, es ist sehr gut, ja, es ist unglaubliche Schule von Geschmack für Mozart-Werke. Und es ist gute Schule für für Disziplin für Sänger, weil Proben sind sehr stark und sehr intensiv. Es ist echt so, aber wir sagen nicht große Wörter, es ist echt so. Und es ist Schule für Stimme und für Personalität.
So I participated the 2 times in the production of the Summer Academy of the Vienna Philharmonic, and it was a great experience to me. And it was a great experience in a matter of discipline, because the rehearsals are very hard, and also in the proper style of learning how to sing the Mozart style.
Understood.
Also,
Professor Muus?
Also how to sing a whole role and whole opera, long time, and with orchestra and with acting.
Understood. Professor Muus, what is it to you, the Vienna Philharmonic?
It's a local band. No. No, of course, it's a very special orchestra with a very special tradition, and of course they have a very special status here in Austria. It is they are almost more famous than Austria as a state, and they are very important ambassadors for this country in the whole world. And of course, if we can give our little, I would say our little thing also to keep up that tradition. That I'm also a foreigner in Austria. I come from Denmark, so I've also been invited to this country, and I feel it's a very big responsibility that has given me also to try to do what I can to maintain this great tradition for music that also Vienna Philharmonic, they are standing for.
Understood. Professor Werba, the Vienna Philharmonic, what does it mean to you?
The first time it's a sort of family. It's clear when I'm 44 years inside this orchestra. But I think there's a great spleen this orchestra has, and it's also funny that the youngsters, they are playing as substitutes also at Vienna State Opera, do then the same as the older members of our orchestra, and this is very necessary. And I'm very proud of it, but it's not easy to stand for the conductors. They try to correct their colleagues all the time in very, very small, fine situations. For instance, if one person is playing, it's not the right kind of Bogenstrich or the right feeling, the colleague sitting beside says, please play it in another way. That's very difficult. In other orchestras, the conductor says, you have to play it this way, please do it. And if there's a mistake, the conductor will correct it. In our difficult orchestra, difficult for the conductors, is that everyone is correcting everyone in a very quick time, but it disturbs a little bit. Therefore, after the first verb was 15 minutes or 10 minutes with a movement of a symphony, and the conductor stops. In the moment the corrections come from one colleague to the other colleague, what to do better, how to react, the conductor has to wait for 5 minutes, 4 minutes, and then he can react. But you see they are also playing chamber music, because this person is not playing together with the conductor how the beat is. They are working together as a group, and they listen to the group what they are doing. And the second thing is, I was for more than 40 years solo bassonist. In the first or second year when I was solo bassonist, or now later, 10 years also, the colleague of the second violin on the last position came to me and said, can you play this place at this place it better, please? Can you make more music? We are used to it in another way. That you have not in another orchestra. There you have the hierarchy, and a solo woodwind player do it like he is doing, and he will never be corrected only by the conductor. In our orchestra, you will be always corrected. And that's a very good situation. That's very much controlling with small things. That is for me one of the most interesting situations, what we have a big difference to other orchestras. There's no head. The conductor is bringing all together, but they are working together.
Fantastic. Thank you very much. So thank you very much to Professor Mikhail Werba, to Professor Niels Muus, to Anna Tiapkina, and to Risa Matsushima, also to Alexander Fritze. Thank you so much. So how can we stay in touch with the Summer Academy? Let's take a look. So we have here, it is wienerphilharmoniker.at, and under the youth section, which we have some things in German and some in English. I guess you'll just have to have your dictionary ready. Excellent. And what's it? Just click on English. Okay. There. And what? Can we go down a little bit? Keep going. Keep going. And there it is. Summer Academy of the Vienna Philharmonic and the Summer Academy Opera of the Vienna Philharmonic. Wonderful. So there we have all the information to stay in touch with Professor Werba and Professor Muus. So let's take a look at next Wednesday, February 24th, 7 o'clock, 19 to 20 o'clock Central European Time. Johannes Kunz, Helene von Dahm, and Paul Lentwey. Bruno Kreisky's Media Offensive. The news desk of the Austrian Broadcasting Corporation, also known as ORF, the Austrian equivalent of the BBC, underwent some big changes at the end of the 1960s. A large reorganization took place and new bylaws were instituted in order to depoliticize the editorial process. Also, a young reporter joined its ranks. Johannes Kunz may very well have been hired because his political views contrasted so starkly with those of the man who decided to hire him. After a few years at the ORF as an independent journalist, Kunz became press secretary of the now legendary Austrian Chancellor Bruno Kreisky. Kreisky fully expected Kuntz to do whatever it took to get his message across and to dominate the news cycle. Sound familiar? Politics and media may never have enjoyed an objective relationship, but where does independent journalism stop and fake news begin? Moreover, who needs news desks or even press secretaries for that matter when you can get the news you're looking for by reading tweets? The veteran ORF journalist Paul Lentfi and former United States Ambassador to Austria, Helene von Dahm, join our special debate about media institutions then and now. As always, all information about upcoming shows may be found at www.simeonmoro.com. Again, thank you to Professor Werba, to Professor Muus, to Anna Tiapkina and Risa Matsushima and Alexander Fritze. Thank you very much to Professor Lino Rivera, to our superhero production team led by Juan Urrea, and most of all, to you, our participants, for making this all worthwhile. From Vienna, Austria, and from the Bay Area, California, good night, goodbye, see you next Wednesday.
Bye-bye.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.